Hi everybody, Rachelle with Grief Recovery with Rachelle. Today I have a topic that I think is probably not going to be very popular, which I'm okay with. I'm not out to be popular. I'm out to spread really good, helpful, useful information that absolutely helps human hearts. And so one of those is about getting to know people versus trying to fix people. So I have a couple of examples. Sometimes when people are going through something painful, they may share with people around them, a friend, a really close friend, a sister, a brother, a mother, the church members, whatever it may be. And what can happen very often, especially with church members, in fact, that's the direction I'm going to go, is maybe they quote scripture to them. And I say this because I've absolutely done it myself. So everything I always share, it's because I've done it myself. But then I've also been given the opportunity to feel it, and it doesn't feel good. And the feedback I get from other people in the private, safe place of my office, they don't think it feels good either. So I have two examples, and then I'll talk more about it. The first example is, as you all know, I came to grief recovery because my father died by suicide. I was devastated, sobbing at home in this private area of my home when no one was around, and just really I was having trouble making words. I thought, well, am I going to kill myself too? I was just so scared of what I was feeling. But I remember going to church the following week, so a full 7 days later, and someone had found out that my father died, and they said, oh, I'm so sorry. You know, people always say I'm so sorry. That's a topic for another day. Anyhow, I'm so sorry. And I remember saying, oh, it's okay. It's okay. I mean, I didn't really even know him anyway. It's not like I talked to him every day. But I'd been crying all day, every day at my home. And so one of my kind friends said, Rachelle, I want to tell you the story. So they told me the story of Jesus and Lazarus, right? And so Jesus knows everything. Whether you believe or not, this is just my experience. So I believe in the Bible deeply. But that doesn't qualify me to do grief recovery. This is just from my life. So anyhow, my friend says, Rachelle, Jesus, right? He knew the future. He knew everything. His friend, Lazarus, dies. He goes to where Lazarus has been dead for 3 days. And he says, Rachelle, what happened when Jesus got there to that cave where Lazarus, or, the area where Lazarus was? And I remembered the story, and I said, he wept. Yeah, he wept. Now, he's Jesus, mind you. He knows what's going to happen next. He knows what's coming. He knows what he's about to do, which was raise Lazarus. But he still took time to cry. And that was actually really helpful for me because my friend was using scripture to help me attach with my emotions. Now, that's my first example. That was helpful and beautiful and helped me to see that I'm not faulty for needing to cry. I just love that friend so much. It touches my heart. Now, another example is, where are we now? March? And around November, early November, my husband and I are going through a really rough time, which we've already talked about, going through a horrifically bad time. Again, I find myself crying every day. Hadn't done my grief steps, but I was crying every day for a couple of weeks. And I would occasionally, someone would say something and I would burst into tears, not able to hold it back. And at this point, I don't want to hold it back because I'm a grief person. And oftentimes people would throw scripture at me. And in those moments, if I'm telling the truth, I absolutely cannot hear what people are saying. When I'm heartbroken and hurt and just shattered, I can't hear scripture at that time. I know what you're telling me is the truth, but I can't hear it and feel it. And so really I want to break that one down, that second situation of using scripture. So when people are sharing their heart with you, are you taking a moment to help them attach with what's going on in their heart, or you're trying to fix them? The second scenario is more trying to fix. That is a person saying, hey, I'm not really feeling comfortable with your emotion, so I'm going to try to fix it for you. I'm going to try to get you better because I'm not really feeling comfortable with it. So it's actually quite selfish to go at a person who's hurting, and rather than ask questions and try to just listen to them, we go to trying to fix them. It becomes a selfish endeavor, which I know is not the intention. It's what we've been trained to do, but it isn't helpful. In fact, I believe it's very counterproductive, because what happens in that moment is the griever, me, shuts down. And I'm not going to tell my truth anymore. I've just learned, can't talk to that person. So maybe I try with a different person. Can't talk to that person. So maybe I try with a different person. Can't talk to that person. And my list starts growing of, these people aren't safe, but they're my brothers and sisters in the church. Do you see? Remember that grief definition? Grief is the conflicting feelings that you have as a result of a loss. Loss is not just death. I'm sure my dad died by suicide. That is an example of a death. But I'm talking about my marriage, which was a loss of hope or dream or expectation. That hurts. It hurts bad. It was wiping me out. I thought I was dead inside. And I had people coming to me, or maybe I was going to them, but they would immediately go to the fix, which says, I'm not comfortable, I don't really know what to do, for whatever reason they're not comfortable, and they would try to fix me. And I was listening or looking for someone to listen to me. And I wonder how many of you out there are being fixed when you just really need someone to listen to you, hear what's on your heart, hear what's hurting you. And that doesn't mean I agree or not. That means I care enough to listen to what's going on in your heart. That's what a safe place is. A safe place is not the fixes. In grief recovery, we don't give the fixes. I will give you a set of tools and allow you to decide to pick them up and show you ways to apply them to your life, but you're actually doing it all on your own. I'm just there giving the framework, and you come and do it. I don't give advice. I don't give judgment or criticism, because let's face it, advice at a time where our heart isn't quite prepared is experienced as criticism and or judgment. Who wants judgment? We want listening ears. We want safe places. So I really advise you, if someone is coming to you with heartbreak, it is not the time to fix them. It's the time to listen to them. And I know in the church, or maybe, I don't know, temple, synagogue, I don't know, there's all different types of places where people go to do their form of worship. The bar could be a form of worship for some people. Whatever. Who cares what your form of worship is? The point is, whether you have worship or not, it could be just a best friend. It could be at the mall. It could be at Denny's. I don't know. If you are going to someone and sharing your heart, I'm guaranteeing you that you're looking for a safe place. And for those who have the good fortune of being a listening person for another, they felt safe enough to share a piece of their truth with you. It's not the time for judgment, analysis, criticism, and it's certainly not the time for fixing. It's a time for listening. What are they going to talk about? Be comfortable to be silent. We are not comfortable with silence. And the person who is grieving will eventually get tired of that and fill the space. But I know from my own times of grief, it takes me a long time sometimes to iron out, what am I feeling? And to figure out which word I want to use that will accurately describe what I'm feeling. And then I need to get it out of my mouth. And that's not a quick process. So I ask you to be comfortable with silence. I ask you to go in the direction the griever wants to go. Listen to them. And if you are uncomfortable, acknowledge that. I don't know what to say. I don't really know what to do. That is far more admirable than trying to fix with scripture. Well, I'm going to pray for you. Please do. But also, can you just listen to me? Because even the I'm going to pray for you is, well, I'm going to run away and fix it. And it's spazzy, and that's what's going on in your soul. It's spazzy, and I don't really know, so I'm going to run away and fix it. Yeah, absolutely. Do that. If you believe in praying, do that. But in that moment, when someone is talking with you about pains inside of their heart, it is time to listen to the pains inside of their heart. I can think of my friend who experienced the death of her husband And I was one of those who would text a scripture or even email a scripture or even say a scripture. I was more afraid and fearful of where she was going. Does she know? Is she going to be okay? Does she know that people love her? Does she know that, I was more spazzy and fearful on the inside about what her future might hold. And I was allowing that to control my reaction. I wasn't even able to listen. So I did my own grief work so that I would be a better listener for her. I did grief work on her situation so that I could get my feelings out and my fears, so I could just be a listening partner. So sometimes you, my friend, are not the grieving person. Sometimes you're the person who needs to listen. But if you have too much fear and emotion inside of yourself, you will not do a good job as listening partner. That's just how it is. So I ask you, if you have energy inside of you and you know that you should be a listening partner, but you're really struggling, come into grief recovery. Take out some of your own energy. Learn how to do that so that you can be a more safe person for others around you. I hope so much that you have found this to be helpful, that you will stop trying to fix people and really get comfortable with listening. And let me tell you, it's uncomfortable and it's hard. And it takes a whole heck of a lot of practice. But I know that you can do it. I know that you can do it because I've done it. So I encourage you again, call griefrecoverymethod.com or look them up online. Call me, 661-400-9067. And good news, grief recovery is available by roughly 20 or less people throughout the world. And I happen to be one of those people. So if you don't live right here in Santa Clarita or you're not within a drivable, commutable distance, that's fine. You can still call me or look on my website, griefrecoverywithrachelle.com, and I could still be helpful with you no matter where you are. I love you very much. I hope so much that you are learning things from these little videos. And if you have ideas or thoughts or concerns or just things you want to share, comment. Text, call, concern, email, whatever you want to do. I'm right here with you. I love you. I'm a fellow griever, remember. So I speak from even just my own personal experience. I'll talk with you next time. Bye-bye.